From the Chow line at the DJC Collectibles Studio, I'm Midwest professional wrestling legend Gage Octane. And now, here's a guy who once went to a KFC buffet and only ate the coleslaw, Kyle Peterson.
What is happening, everybody? Kyle here, back again for episode number 26 of the Kyle Peterson Show. And as usual, got the vivacious, extra vivacious here today. Angie, say hello.
Me and the girls are here
today.
The
girls are here. How are you, Angie?
Good. How are you? Are you distracted?
I'm doing real good now. Doing real good here now. I mean, I wore my one of my fanciest Western shirts here too. A little cacti, the yellow and pink attack. Just really hoping for people to comment saying, "Man, Kyle looking good this week. Is looking extra good." And then Angie just has to one-up me right here with this beautiful dress. Is this a new dress?
Yes, it's new.
Oh, what is the designer? Tell me all about it.
From Target.
Oh, Target. Target, as it's known in these circles here. But Angie looking only like she can look this week. And God love you, Angie. God bless you, too, at the same time. But Angie, it is episode 26 of the Kyle Peterson Show. You ready for this?
Yes.
You're ready in more ways than one, I think. Willing and able, boys. She's able, let me tell you. But Angie, we got an exciting episode today here as we're going to do a little recap. We'll call it a recap of Galaxy Con this week. And Angie, I believe that was your first ever con you've ever been to, right?
Well, what's the last one we went to before that?
Oh, you went to a different one? I couldn't remember.
Earlier this year. What was that other con we went to?
I have no idea.
And then the one guy didn't show up. Oh, where you did the panel.
Oh, yeah.
What was that?
So she's been to more cons than one. This isn't new. You've been in a con a time or two. So there you go. Well, we'll get more into that here today. But first, Angie, we got to thank the sponsor of this podcast. It is DJC Collectibles. Use discount code 8OFFDJC to save 8% off your entire order. Just got X-Men 97 figures from DJC Collectibles. So shout out to them. Get your order in.
Gotta get a deal.
Gotta get a deal. I feel like I got a heck of a deal on this dress. It cost $1,000. If that's the case, it was a deal. I'm here for it. A great deal. So I'll pay that bill later. How about that? But Angie and I were filming a little bit early this week, aren't we, Angie? Mm-hmm. Yep. We're going to a little grocers convention. Really excited. We talked about Galaxy Con. We've talked about San Diego Comic Con. Now we're talking about a grocers convention. Riveting?
It might be more fun for me than the convention.
Might be fun for Angie. You're gonna wear this dress, get a couple drinks in you tonight. It's gonna be just watch out.
Aren't we golfing?
Yeah. So it's like
I won't be wearing this dress.
Oh, you're not? You never know. We'll see how the night goes. You might not be wearing anything by the time the night's over. We'll see. But yeah, we got to get there. We got to check into the hotel, and then we got to get our bags. We got these nice bags full of swag bags, freebies, free sample stuff. So we're going to get all that. And then there's a little dinner, not too fancy of a dinner, I think. So we do that for an hour and 15. Then we got a half hour. We can take a shuttle if we want, or we'll probably be in the hand of our own fate with a car, and we'll probably drive. And it's like a Top Golf type thing. So we got that going on, and there's like a bowling pin thing there, and then they're going to have hors d'oeuvres, and then they're going to have desserts and stuff like that. So we'll see how it goes. So we'll see how long we stick around at that thing. Then we got to go back to the hotel and do our thing, Angie, of course. And then, okay. All right. We're going to go sleep at the hotel, something like that. And I got work to do too, of course. So then we get up in the morning the next day, and you just kind of bum around town. And I got a 5-6 hour meeting I got to go to, and then we'll be back on the road on our way back to everybody's hearts back home. So grandparents gonna watch the kids for us. All will be right in the world. But we got a big event. Maybe we'll recap that next week. We'll see how exciting it is. Maybe we'll film some of it for the toy hunt video next week. This week, what is time? Not exactly sure, but we got to do that. So we're filming this a little bit early because we are leaving town, Angie. Leaving town on a car, not a jet plane, though, of course. But Angie's along for it. This will be your first ever convention. So you're just going to learn. You better take detailed notes. Maybe you should reply back to everybody next week with what the heck went down. So We'll see. Maybe not. But Angie, next up, it's time for our next segment. And this segment here, Amped Apparel, save 20% on all purchases with code Kyle. 20% Amped Apparel, and they are the sponsor of A Deeper Dive. All right, Angie, we're going deeper, and I don't know if that dress can go any deeper right there, that plunging line, but we're here for it. We're here for it. No complaints. No complaints, except those people that thumbs down the video. Maybe that's what they're complaining here. You know, all these people that are thumbsing it down, they come here for this. They come here for this little guy right here, and they say, ugh, get that out of here. Thumbs her down. Yeah, maybe, maybe not. But Angie, it's time for a deeper dive, and we're going to deeper dive GalaxyCon here today. Now, it was a 3-day event in Des Moines. Angie, how many days did we go? We went 1 day for the audio podcast listeners. She puts her finger up for the video. But we went 1 day, and it was Saturday. Now, Friday is a tough day for those cons. I mean, it's open at like 4 or 5 o'clock, and it's a shorter time. So I don't think the attendance is the busiest on Fridays. I guess I wouldn't know. I wasn't there. But we did go on Saturday. I did get a free pass, so that was always nice to get. And then we bought Angie's pass to get in as well. And we went and had quite the party at GalaxyCon, and that's the end of the story.
Yeah.
No, that's it. But Angie, we did go about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so we got a little bit of a late start. I was surprised how busy it was at 4 o'clock. Usually, it opens at 9 a.m. or whatever. It's usually lines out the door, and it seemed to be that way from some intel I got from other people that went earlier. So it was kind of nice that we went later because it was a lot less busy, a lot less stressful when you don't have to wait in line for hours upon a time. And I almost feel like we could have just walked in at any time if we wanted to, because there was some big obese lady, nothing against big obese ladies, except they don't like to check badges. She was sitting in a chair, just sitting there, people coming and going, and, walked up to her and she could care less. So it was a weird kind of thing. But
no sold, yeah.
You had no problems getting in, though, do you, Angie?
I
never had problems getting in. She just walks in, does her own thing. But Angie and I went in there, and we immediately made a beeline for one Dana Gould, of course, Dr. Z. Now, that's going to be the moral of the story here. We're going to get to that more in a second, is that was the reason for me going to GalaxyCon. Now, they had a lot of other people there. Jerry Trainer was there from iCarly, and who'da thunk it? It's the changing of the guard, I think, in fandoms. He had the longest lines. And the biggest audio hall thing where they, give their little presentation or whatever, Q&A, he was the jewel. He was the star right there. So shout out to Jerry Trainer, I guess, from iCarly fame, getting it done. But he was the most popular guy by far. Even when we got there so late, he wasn't even at his table, but there was a line to get to his table. So shout out to him. He was making bank that weekend, that's for sure. And that's my kids. That was the only reason they would have came, is to meet him. Where me, I don't have anything against Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner, Gangrel, Nick Nemeth, of course, Dolph Ziggler. Those guys were there for the wrestling variety. No musicians that I saw. Did you see any musicians? I don't think so.
Would I even know?
Yeah, I don't know. Those guys, nothing against them, but I just don't want to pay $100 for a photo with my own phone and an autograph. I don't have anything to get autographed, so I would have liked to get a picture with those guys, but just not for $100. Just not going to do that there. But Dana Gould, of course, won Dr. Z. I would pay $1 million to get a picture with. And we immediately went to a beeline because Dr. Z, Dana Gould's persona as Dr. Zaius, of course, from Planet Apes. If you haven't checked out Hanging with Dr. Z on YouTube or some of his Dr. Z bits, you're really missing out. But that's who I wanted to go. Now, if you guys walk this back a little bit from San Diego Comic-Con, Dr. Z was there Saturday night. I made plans already, plane tickets. I was flying out Saturday afternoon. So I missed his show, and I was just so defeated because that was one of the things I wanted to see the most in my life. And Angie was blown away by this. And I said, Angie, there's really only 2 celebrities I want to meet in my entire life. And do you remember who those 2 were?
Oh, God.
She was so blown away, she totally forgot.
Dr. Z.
Dr. Z was one of them. I wanted to meet Dana Gould in Dr. Z area or makeup.
Is this person still alive?
Yep.
Oh, God, I don't know.
Oh.
I was going to say the Warrior.
The Warrior's dead, so unfortunately. But I really, really want to meet Boss Rutan. Of course, UFC legend, Pancrase legend, TV, film, you name it. Boss Rutan has been an idol of mine for a long time, decades at this point, and I would love to meet Boss Rutan. But Boss Rutan and Dr. Z, that's the 2 people in the world I want to meet. I'm guessing somebody watching this right now has said, I've never heard of either of those people. I guarantee that is the case.
That's how you like it.
That's how I like it, I guess. I don't know. But you like what you like. You don't what you don't. I don't want to meet Tom Cruise. I don't want to meet Tom Hanks. The only Tom I want to meet is my dad, Tom Peterson. Dad, I'd love to see you one of these days. Could you come back to the channel? We're going to talk a little bit about more of Dad and story time with Kyle this week, too, as well. But Dana Gould, I immediately ran, and he had a show at 5 o'clock. The Dr. Z show, live talk show at GalaxyCon was at 5 o'clock. And we were there right about 4 o'clock. And I'm like, I just got a feeling he's not going to be at his table because he's going to need to get prepared, get changed, probably get something to eat and drink maybe in between. And our worst fears were realized that he was not there at the table. And man, I was disappointed because I wanted to get a picture with Dana Gould and I wanted to talk to him. And he had 8x10s and stuff. I think it would be hilarious to have an 8x10 of Dr. Z hanging in my office. I thought that would be the greatest thing ever. Unfortunately, it wasn't the case. I was like, man, you got to be kidding me. I missed out. So Angie and I sat there defeated for a little bit. And then Angie tapped me on the back and she said, Kyle, you got to pull yourself up by your bootstrings. You got to pull yourself up. You're going to rally. You're going to recover from this. Let's just go over here. Let's settle down. I'll get you a little drink of water and we'll recapture the magic here. And Angie fueled my life bar, if you know what I mean.
I got you a little Coke, actually.
She got me a Coke and I'm still sniffing from that right there. So she gave me a little bump back in the corner. That's not all you gave me back in the corner. I was shocked you'd do that with all those people around, but Angie didn't care. It was a wild time. But we walked around. The con. Did you see anything that interested you walking around there?
No.
Did you want to get out of there as fast as you could?
Yeah.
There was some cosplayers. We saw a wizard with one of the longest wizard sleeves I've ever seen. You remember that guy?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen a wizard sleeve like that. I mean, it's wild, I thought. So he was walking around in his blue wizard costume. There was a lot of people in cosplay. You remember any other good cosplays that you witnessed?
No, but I just love how they just like walk around slow, just like waiting for someone to ask them to take a picture.
You know, it reminds me of San Diego Comic-Con. You know, Jay and Silent Bob, you heard of them before?
Yeah.
You got Silent Bob. There's a guy, and he's been there the last 3 years. He looks a lot like him. You would know the difference between him and Kevin Smith, but he basically just sits in the same spot at San Diego Comic-Con the whole time for like 3 days straight. And I'm like, you pay all this money, you come here, you do all this, and you just kind of do there. He's got the cigarette out the side of his mouth, just sitting there living the gimmick. It was a wild time. And kudos to that guy. That's what he wants to do, of course. But we walked around. I remember seeing a wizard. I remember seeing a lot of like aliens and furry things that I don't know anything about. Probably anime stuff is probably what they were.
We did see the Ghostbusters car, and there was
Ghostbusters car. People dressed as Ghostbusters. We did go to the Mars Attacks. I love Mars Attacks. They had a little Mars Attacks like statues there, so I got my picture with them. Have you ever seen that movie?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. So, yeah, I don't know. But Mars Attacks was there. But we kind of walked around, looked at the tables, looked at stuff. And these cons like this, they're really not for me. As far as action figures go, it's usually Funko Pops all over the place. And I'm not a Funko Pop guy. Angie, big Funko Pop collector. Angie, of course. No?
I like how you have to register your weapons at these things.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
like
that was the other thing.
There's a whole table for it.
Yeah, Angie, you had to pull out both your weapons right there. They wanted to make sure they were real. They said, wait, are these real? I don't know. They had to pull those weapons out, but everybody had to check their weapons. You're right. Even if it was a dumb little styrofoam mace or something, or a Nerf sword, like, oh, we better check that, make sure there's no razor blades in there. It's probably good for safety reasons, I'm sure, but that's got to be quite the job. Yeah, I check the weapons. I do weapon checks, and everybody's like, wow, this guy's like into firearms and stuff. And no, it's a hot pink sword from an anime or something. But
making it sound like he works for the government.
Yeah, exactly. But we walked around. There was a lot of posters, a lot of Funko Pops, a lot of homemade stuff, and then a lot of people selling their wares, their books and things. Comic artists there selling, drawings and stuff. So really not stuff I'm too much into, and definitely Angie's not into.
A lot of 3D printed.
3D printed stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of that. So it's okay.
Random people. Did you say selling books? There's always some random person selling the weirdest book.
There is some weird books. And it makes me wonder a lot of times. I'm like, I have 2 books. Could I come to a con like this? And somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think these people, for the most part, outside of the big celebrities, they get paid to come there. But a lot of these people at these tables, they pay the $300 for the table for the weekend, or $500. Obviously bigger table, the more space you got. I'm like, what if I got a table at one of these things? What would happen? And I don't ever want to be the lonely Virgil. That's like my biggest fear in life, that somebody pays me money to come somewhere and I'm lonely Virgil, or even worse, I pay my own money and I sit here for a whole weekend by myself with nobody coming up to me. But then you see some guy like just a crazy sci-fi novel that, like, this isn't some Ray Bradbury or something like that. That's why, really date myself with some of these things, but no Ray Bradbury. But this guy sitting here, who created this book and stuff, and kudos to anybody with an imagination, anybody that actually does the work to create a book. Nothing against them. Living the dream right there, but nobody knows what it is. You're going to buy just a random book and a thing like this, and somebody's probably done it. But how many copies are they selling? Is the juice worth the squeeze? Long way to get there, Angie. I don't know. And Angie would never let me do that, would you?
Well, hopefully these people have publishing companies that are paying the...
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how it all works, but
so funny.
Would you sit there all weekend with me if I was selling a book?
I would, but I wouldn't want to.
You'd be embarrassed. Would you wear a mask?
No. I just have my boobs out so
geez.
attract the people.
Well, maybe that would work. Maybe you get a double dose autographs right there. But yeah. So I don't know. So a lot of these guys, one of the guys, hey, you want to get my book? And just looked at him like, what the heck?
I felt bad. He was like, can I tell you about my book? And we were like, no, thanks.
No, I don't want to hear about your book. And it felt like the guy that always wants to clean your shoes at the mall. He's like, can I put the stuff down on there? No, I'm good.
If I wasn't with you, I would have been like, sure.
Oh, and then
but you have less patience than me.
And then what would have happened?
And
the guy
would have said stuck for an hour.
But here's Angie is so nice to people. What would have happened? He's like, Angie, here's the highlights of the book, all this.
I would have bought the book.
And then he would have said, here, Angie, I really want to tell you more about this book later. Here's my phone number. Here, take this. And then, give me your phone number too, so we have our numbers together. And Angie'd say, well, okay, yeah, here it is. And then she'd come back to me. Well, I got this book. I felt kind of bad, but he was a really nice guy. And he's going to call me later. He's a nice guy. He's going to tell me more about the book. And little does Angie know that he's not really interested in the book anymore, Angie.
Fast forward 6 months, I have a new phone number.
Fast forward 6 months, you got a new husband, and Angie's on the Dungeons & Dragons scene out there. Who knows? Who knows? You just charm your pants right off or your dress right off. Maybe. You never know. But we walked around, didn't buy anything there, didn't see anything. Walked around some of them. Of course, Jonathan Frakes was supposed to be there. Of course, Commander Riker and former Question of the Week participant on my YouTube channel. Of course, everybody remembers that during the Toy News Weekly purchases once upon a time. I was hoping he was going to be there because I was thinking about paying him to do some commentary for the channel. Unfortunately, he did cancel. The Weasel, Pauly Shore, canceled as well. That was unfortunate. He was also going to be at the Funny Bone here, so I guess he canceled those too. So as we see with the cons, a lot of times last-minute cancellations really hit it. A lot of the Star Wars people canceled, so hard times right there. But Dana Gould was there. I was a little worried he might cancel. He did not cancel, but I did miss him as Dana Gould at his table. Would have loved to talk about The Simpsons with him. Love to talk about the show. A little bit more in-depth conversation would have been nice. And then, of course, that 8x10, the autographed 8x10. So it is what it is. So Angie and I, we did some Coke, and then we went to the back, walked around a little bit. And then I said, hey, Angie, let's try to find this. And we tried to hunt down where the spot was. And luckily, we, dumb luck, walked our way basically to where the auditorium was for him. And now, do you have any idea what was there before we were there?
No.
In that auditorium. It was something anime something. And there was a
panel of actors.
Yeah, it was
4
something.
actors or something.
And I would say there was probably 40 people in for that thing. So a decent sized crowd because there's all these little pocket things going on all over the place and stuff like that. So there were about 40 people there. So Angie and I got in the back. We said, let's go sit in back and we'll wait for him to be done. And then we'll get up close for when Dr. Z's talk show starts. Now, Dr. Z, we're hanging with Dr. Z. It's a talk show, basically. It's very similar to this in a lot of ways, actually. He sits there with a guest. They go back and forth. And he had some guests for this one planned. And some surprise guests as well. So we sat in the back, waited for this thing to get over, and it got over with. So then about, 20 minutes before start time, we moved up. We didn't want to be uncomfortably right front in the middle. We got about 4 rows back, kind of off to the middle side. But a good spot, There was a little TV off to the side or a big projection screen. They brought out the Dr. Z backdrop. They brought out the chairs, everything else. I was living the dream right then and there. I was very, very excited. Angie didn't know what she was getting herself into. For that 20 minutes, they did clips of him talking, commercials and stuff from the Hanging with Dr. Z.
You were just cackling.
I was. And Angie...
I knew so much of it was going on.
Yeah.
A few things were funny, though.
It was... Dr. Z's humor is very for old souls. If you're a history buff of pop culture, especially 60s, 70s, and 80s pop culture, you're going to love Dr. Z and some of his quips and some of the stuff he does. But someone like Angie that doesn't know any of that kind of stuff, it's just all over your head repeatedly. Now, he does got funny jokes here and there, but a lot of the references go over people's heads for sure. Now, we got there, and I'm like, all right, boy, this is going to be packed. We got great seats. Well, start looking at the watch. This place sure isn't filling up, and I was a little bit concerned about that. How many people would you say were there for showtime?
25.
Oh, no.
How many?
13. So, yeah, Dr. Z had 13 people there for the show, which was kind of... I wish there was more people there because I felt bad. When he came out and he saw the stage and saw everybody and looked around... and that's got to be tough. That's got to be defeating. It's like Kyle getting a table at a con and nobody coming to the table. The Lonely Virgil. He had the Lonely Virgil on stage is what was going on. However, like most performers, and I feel like I'm one of those performers and a lot of people I've talked to that are performers, It doesn't matter if there's 10,000 people there or there's 2 people there, you're going to get the same show. And I felt like Dr. Z gave us that same show regardless. So I thought that was really cool. He came out there. It's funny. He did like a joke making fun of it a little bit at the beginning. Like nobody laughed because nobody knew what they were getting themselves into here. And he just sat there and he just looked at everybody like waiting for the punchline, like waiting for people to laugh, like making it uncomfortable, which I thought was really, really funny. But I do feel like as far as the audience went, I really felt like I was the only one that was a Dr. Z fan. I felt like everybody else was like, oh, here's this show. Let's go to this show and kill an hour because they're at the con from 9 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. Hey, let's take a break. Let's eat something. Let's go in here. It kind of felt that way to me. Maybe 1 or 2 people. Angie heard of Dr. Z, but never really watched Dr. Z. But I tell you, Angie, I laughed pretty good a lot of times. You took I'll get to that later, but I laughed a lot. And I laugh a lot. I joke around a lot, but at like comedian shows and stuff, I don't usually laugh out loud. I'm not like the guy, oh my gosh. I'm just not that out loud laughter person like that. But I really was chuckling. I was holding it back a few times. There was some
Your eyes
really
were
fun.
watering.
Yeah, I was really enjoying it. It really encompasses a lot of what I love. I love comedy. I love deep cut humor like that. I love the Planet of the Apes. It was really bringing a lot of stuff together. Great company, of course, there with my wife Angie sitting by me. But it was a good show. And so Dr. Z did his stand-up thing. There was a guy from GalaxyCon that was kind of his straight man that he bantered with. Like a young Todd McFarlane is what that was.
Except was he
like.
Straight? No.
No, I don't know if he was either. But they bantered back and forth and did jokes and stuff.
Yeah.
And then brought out the first guest. It was Michael Cutlitz. Of course, Michael Cutlitz from Walking Dead fame, apparently Band of Brothers. I just know him from The Walking Dead. And I loved him as Abraham there. He was only there for a little bit, though. You could tell he had to get the heck out of Dodge and get moving, and that's exactly what he did. But he was there, and I don't think they were prepped. He wasn't in on the joke. And like I said, I don't know if these guys even knew what they were getting themselves into because the audience had no idea. What is this guy? He's dressed as Dr. Zayas from Planet of the Apes. But anyways, Michael Cutlitz was there. They had some witty humor, things like that. Then Barry Bostwick came out, of course, from Spin City is where I first knew him, but a Rocky Horror Picture Show, a lot of different stuff. And he came out pretending like he was drunk. Which I thought was pretty funny as well.
And never sat down.
Never sat down. And they kept saying, come sit down on the couch. Sit down. And he'd like start to walk.
I gotta go.
Yeah. He'd start walking there like he's going to sit down. And then he'd be like, oh, and then get started. So I thought that was pretty funny. That was one of the funniest bits of the whole thing, I thought. I thought he played a drunk guy really, really well. And Angie, what did you say when he came out? Who did he look like?
He looked like your dad.
He looked like my dad with longer hair. And I never noticed that before, but he definitely did have
Same
an appearance.
build, like extremely tall, similar face.
Tall, skinny, the white gray hair kind of going on there. My dad needs to come back on the show and one-up Barry Bostwick. Dad, come on in. No, I wish. But that was pretty funny. And then there was a little break in between, some more comedy banter. And then they brought out the next guest. Was it, now I forgot the guy's name. I just escaped me there. But he is the creator of Aqua Teen Hunger Force and Aqua Teen Hunger Force. And what was the other one? Oh, Squidbillies. Like I'm asking Angie like she knows. Sure. She knows. Yeah, sure. But he was there. I should have brought the poster. That's what I should have brought. I had that over there. But we'll put it in the picture, I guess, along the way. But they were there talking about that, talking about their time in Las Vegas, talking about stuff like that. So that was pretty funny to listen to all that. Then they brought up the guy that... was from Malcolm in the Middle. Now I'm forgetting everybody's names. But the guy from Malcolm in the Middle was there, like the neighbor, the bigger guy. Anyways, you'll see the picture here, But anyways, witty banter throughout there. But a fun show. Basically like a comedy show with a little bit of talk show and a little bit of presentation on video. Kind of an all-encompassing thing that was very, very fun. And I really did enjoy my time. And I laughed a lot. It was worth going just for that. And that was the only reason I went to GalaxyCon. But Angie, of course, at the end, I was very thankful when he stood up and he said, hey, we're going to do pictures. If you want to get a picture with me in the Dr. Z get up, we could do a picture. And those were free, which I thought was really cool. But he said, we also have, it was a good joke too. And I use this all the time. The posters, like we got the poster for sale and it's $30, $30 with my autograph on this poster. And then he went on and he said, a lot of people say, wow, $30, that's pretty expensive for a poster. And he goes, then I tell him this cardstock, very heavy on here, very nice poster, but it costs pennies. Pennies is how much this poster costs for me, but I take all the money and I include all the money. So I thought that was really funny because you always see that. Okay, you get an 8x10, it's $40. This thing cost a penny. Yeah, you're not really getting a lot of money in that, but did a big setup on that, was really funny. And to me, I wanted that poster anyways, but it's worth it for the show I got to have that forever. So I did get his autograph, and he told me to stay groovy is what he told me to do. And I officially, as of right now, going forward, I promise each and every one of you, and especially you, Angie, I will stay groovy from this time forward here. But we did get the meet and greet with Dr. Z after. How many people would you say were in there? Like 5 people for that. Like of the 13 people, 5 people maybe stuck around for that. Yeah. But I was just, you couldn't wipe the smile off my face. I was extremely excited to be there. And you said too when you took the picture.
You were like a little kid with Santa Claus or something.
Yeah, you said that you hadn't seen me smile like that in a long time since.
I think other people commented on it when you posted it online.
I posted it and said, boy, you're so happy. And I was. Like I came up, so I had my Jerry Reed shirt on when I came up to Dr. Z, and he goes, "Oh, that's a beautiful shirt." Of course, a guy loving 70s and stuff like pop culture stuff. He goes, and I go, "I bet you got a couple of stories about Jerry Reed." And he goes, "Oh, don't get me started about that night in Santa Barbara." And he kind of gave that whole thing going on, which was really funny. But it was really cool. And I think at first he thought I was just somebody that just was there or whatever. But I said, but Dr. Z, and it was really weird because I wanted to call him Dana Gould, but I just said, I'm going to call him Dr. Z. And Dr. Z get up calling him Dr. Z. I said, Dr. Z, when's the YouTube channel coming back? When's the show coming back? And his eyes lit up through the mask. He's like, oh. He goes, yeah, we're not going to do a Kickstarter this time. We're working on funding. And we talked a little bit about it and how big of a fan I was. And I think he really enjoyed that. And then when we paid the money, you Venmo'd him, I think, the $30. And he gave me the autograph and the poster, and we were off. And he goes, I go, wait, don't you want to see it went through? He goes, Kyle, you got a trusting face. I believe you. And he's right. I do have a trusting face. I have a trusting wife. So we paid him for that. But it was nice. I felt like
I should have sent him pennies.
You should have sent him. Yeah, you should have sent him.
I should have put that in the memo, pennies.
Yes, exactly. That would have been funny. But it was nice to see his eyes light up because I think there was people that were into it. And, the people that were there, they were laughing, they were enjoying it. It was a pretty fun show. But to have a hardcore fan or somebody that really enjoys his stuff there, I think was good for him. So I think he was happy to see that. So all in all, it was good. And then Angie, we met some fans of ours. I don't know. It feels weird saying fans, but we met a nice couple from Nashville, Tennessee. Big Star Trek fans. They were there for the Aqua Teen guy, of course. They weren't there for us, but it was nice to meet them, nice to talk to them. They even knew Angie. They knew Angie. They love some Angie. So it was nice to meet some of them along the way as well. So all in all, that was a very fun show. And then after the show, we did one quick lap down there again just to see if there was anything to see, and there really wasn't. And then, Angie, we went to dinner, and where did we go?
Where did we go? I just blanked it.
Oh, with something you love.
Where did we go?
Oh, my gosh. Well, you don't love it that much anymore, but you've always said, oh, just give me 5 guys. That's what you would say. You know, so get 5 guys in me right away. Let me take care of all 5. The burger
was so big. I was like,
you were. It was greasy and messy. But we're going to go to Jersey Mike's. But here's what we did. This happens a lot to some people. Here, you pull in the parking lot. You're going to go to Jersey Mike's. And I like a good Jersey Mike's. However, Angie, you know what was happening? Right at the front of the entrance there's the employee. And this is like 7 o'clock at night, so it's not super busy. The employee's there just smoking in front of the door. And then when I pull up and see that, go out back and smoke so my eyes don't see it. Because then I'm like, oh, she's going to throw that cigarette down, stomp it out with her feet, walk in there.
The hands.
Yeah, she's going to walk in there and make my sandwich. I said, oh my gosh. I said, Angie, do we go to Five Guys? Because it was right across the street. And I know Angie loves Five Guys, of course. So I was like, do we go there? And you were like back and forth on it. I said, let's flip a coin. And thankfully, the coin flip went to Five Guys because I wanted Jersey Mike's more, but I was happier with my Five Guys experience because that the smoke thing just drives me crazy. So that's how we capped that night with Dr. Z with a good Five Guys burger right there. I got the Western burger. You got the something.
I just get the cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger with all the fixins, is what she said.
No tomato.
Give me that Hardee's Carl's Jr. fixin'
And then
bar.
we share a fry.
And there it went. So, yeah, we shared a fry. And that was good. And then we went to Target and saw Disappointment, and then we went home, and that was it. So, there it is. That's our GalaxyCon deeper dive. A lot going on with that story there. But, Angie, now it's time to try new foods because they might taste good.
We can try a little bit of this and a little bit of that. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. We gotta try new food because they might taste good.
All right, Angie, it's time to try new foods because they might taste good. And for some reason, I'm hungry for watermelon. I don't know why, but I am. Or cantaloupes, maybe. Who knows?
Wash it down with some milk afterwards.
There you go. But Angie, it's time to try new foods because they might taste good. What do you got for us this week?
We got a little harvest item.
Oh, a little harvest. A little
Debbie.
Ooh,
Oatmeal cream pie, but pumpkin spice.
Now, Angie, you've always enjoyed a good cream pie, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
You love a cream pie.
I do. It's a favorite of mine. But Angie, I love a good cream pie with Angie for occasionally, time for time, when we're bored sometimes. But I do like the traditional cream pies. These I've never had, so I don't know what we're getting ourselves into. I don't mind pumpkin spice, of course. Angie, bust it open for us here and then give me the box. I love a good box, too. You guys know me. It's all about the presentation here. There's two of them.
We're really shaking on that one.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
So oatmeal cream pie, Little Debbie. I think we're all familiar with Little Debbie by now. 8 sandwich cookies, 10 ounces, 170 calories per cookie. Oh my gosh, what are we doing? 13 grams of sugar. Expires October 2nd, so we better get around these quick here. Oatmeal cream pie. So I'm guessing limited edition. Not a big Little Debbie fan. To me, Little Debbie is very, very chemically at all times. Very chemically flavor and taste. It doesn't have the magic of when I was a little kid. Now, when I was a kid, not just old Kyle, but young Kyle loved a good cream pie, Angie. I don't know if you knew this, but love a good cream pie from time to time, going back to my childhood. But I also enjoyed the nutty bars from them. They don't taste as good as they used to either. So I don't know what's going on in this world anymore. But we're going to try these ones out. We're going to see what's going on with this oatmeal cream pie. 'Tis the season, of course. See you later, goodbye. See you later, goodbye. I got allergies today, so
it smells really cinnamony.
It's very orange inside there, so it is 'tis the season. But
it's nice and soft.
Nice and soft. That's always key. Nothing worse than the hard cookie on these, so I like them soft.
I couldn't believe when we bought the big pack one time, the bigger ones, how much harder they were than the small.
Now,
so if you buy these regular, buy the small ones.
Now, you usually like it hard, though.
Well, I was going to say not my mouth. Maybe I do.
Maybe you do. I don't know. You're confused.
You don't want it soft in your mouth. That's crazy.
I don't mind a hard one. I don't mind a soft one either. I like the oatmeal pies on these. It's the cream I'm not wild about. But we know, Angie, you enjoy the cream of it usually. But you usually like the whiter cream over the orange cream.
Yeah.
It makes sense if you do the math and you think about it. But we're going to see how well this one is here today.
Cheers.
Let's try it out.
Very soft. Good.
I like the oatmeal pie.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. Took a while to get to the spice.
Mm-hmm. Very orange.
It tastes very orange.
It's they use turmeric. That's good. That's about the only healthy thing they did.
I gotta say, this is pretty good. As much as I hate Little Debbie organization.
Look at that ingredient list. How many
Yeah.
ingredients do you think are in there? 50?
7,000.
I gotta show this. Can I see?
Can the audio podcast people see that?
This whole side.
Can the audio listeners see that, Angie?
That whole side. I don't care. Get it together.
Get it together. I enjoy this a lot.
It's good.
Mm-hmm. I hate to say it.
You know it's good because we're still eating it.
I hate to say it, but definitely good. I think I might take one for the road on our trip.
Mm-hmm.
A little road trip snack.
Yeah.
Pretty good. So out of 5, Angie, you got what are your thoughts on this one? Obviously, this is an in and out item. So you love a good in and out item, of course.
I'm gonna give it a 3.75.
Man, I'm going higher than you on this one.
I was gonna go 4. Are you going 4?
Well, you got to decide. You're your own woman. You make your own choices.
I'm gonna give it a 4.
Okay. I'm gonna go a 4.5 out of 5.
Oh my god, you really like it.
I really like it. Now, I love the oatmeal cookies here. I love it. I'm an old soul, Angie. We talked about that earlier. I love an oatmeal raisin cookie. I love an oatmeal cookie. Would you get a piece of glass in there?
I'm curious. I was trying to decide if they tweaked the recipe on the oatmeal.
It tastes the same to me. So, and it's nice and soft. And you know these, because they're seasonal items, they're fresher than the traditional ones. So very, very soft. And I like the cream isn't overpowering. And I don't like an overpowering cream like you. I know you like this explosion of cream of all times, but not me. I'm light on cream, light on sauce usually. This is light taste. And it does have that pumpkin spice, just a hint of that. And that's all I need. I don't need overpowering pumpkin spice, but very, very good. So I hate to say it because, get you some things. But yeah, I'll get my some later. That's too, for sure. But very, very good. So I got to say, worth the try. Worth the try. I'm glad we bought these. So
way better than last week's food.
Yeah. Angie almost puked last week. If you missed that one, watch out. She was being boozled.
Getting the chicken skin.
It's funny. I finished the rest of those jelly beans. I had no problem. I didn't care if they were good or bad. It was just, I don't care. I like it. So don't know. I'm
curious to see if people think it's weird that I say chicken skin.
I don't know. People say that.
I feel like people said goosebumps.
Goosebumps,
but I say chicken skin. I don't know why. That's just how I was raised.
I guess you were raised right. Yeah. I eat the rest of those jelly beans. I didn't have any problems with the bad ones or anything. I guess I just like to taste them. Yeah. I like to taste some bad things. Let me tell you.
I just have a weaker stomach with that.
I guess so. So there it is, Angie. That's try new foods because it might taste good. But now we've got to segue over to Figure of the Week. All right, Angie, it's time for Figure of the Week, and I think we know what the real Figure of the Week was this week here. So kudos for you right there. Looking like you could look, just like a young Dr. Z. We're going to keep it on brand, keep it on theme right here. We do got the Planet of the Apes NECA Dr. Zaius figure here. A great figure for more ways than one. I like to pretend it is Dana Gould, Dr. Z, but I also love the Planet of the Apes. Planet of the Apes was a staple of me going to my grandparents who had limited channels once upon a time. I would watch the Planet of the Apes movies, and I love all the movies. I love some of the later movies, the original ones, of course. The first one I've seen a billion times, never need to see it again, but Beneath the Planet of the Apes and Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, some amazing movies if you've never seen those. I love the cartoon. I love the short-lived TV show. There was a lot of good Planet of the Apes stuff. They lost me with Mark Wahlberg. Of course, many longtime viewers of the channel know, Angie, I have a blood feud with one Mark Wahlberg. You know that, right?
Oh, God.
You know about my disagreements over time and business dealings with Mark Wahlberg. I've been pretty offended by Mark Wahlberg and some of the business dealings. And one of these days, we'll do a story time with Kyle about my blood feud in the business world with Mark Wahlberg and some of the inner workings of that one. And really, I kind of got the last laugh in some ways. In some ways, the last pain.
Well, you called it. They should have cut that long before they
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. But
so, what is Dana Gould's tie to Planet of the Apes? I thought
big
that was.
Fan.
I thought it was. Is that just a spoof that he was part? Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't understand.
Yeah, he's just a big
That's
fan.
what I
And
figured.
Dr. Z was like the wise ape on the show and stuff, and he kind of plays that. But then he plays it like he was actually Dr. Z was actually a real person. And I was hanging out at this pool party at this guy's house and stuff, and I was with Diana Shore and that kind of stuff. So it was real fun. But had to get this one here. Now, this is a re-release from way back in the day, and Angie doesn't know this either, but I really wanted to get this line when it originally came out because, unfortunately for me, I could not. Finances didn't quite allow it. It was when Elle was being born, and I was selling my Devil's Rejects collection, selling a lot of that kind of stuff. So, unfortunately, I had to admire these from afar, but thankfully, NECA re-released these here in the last year. Had to pick these up for my collection. I'm sure you can pick them up wherever toys are found. Maybe DJC Collectibles might have some of these still. But I had to get these guys for my collection because I love the Planet of the Apes so much. I hope they continue with more Planet of the Apes figures from the original trilogies. I don't mind the newer movies here, but it's one of those things I'll watch them once and that's it. Most things don't capture my heart to watch multiple times. When you send me videos every once in a while, I'll watch them 1,000 times. But Angie, I can't watch, new movies very often. There's very few that I can ever do that to. You too, probably?
Yeah, I mean, movies have really gone downhill, I think.
Yeah. Can you watch, like, When Calls the Heart over and over?
Gosh, I don't think there's any show that I've really, stuck to. I've dropped all of them. I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah, you just can't. You just don't stick with it.
I just don't.
Well, thanks for sticking with me. I make it very hard in more ways than one, right? Right. Yeah, there you go. But Dr. Z, an all-time favorite. Had to bring this out on brand with the Dr. Z talk. Figured it'd be perfect time for, of course, Figure of the Week. Dr. Z from NECA. But now, Angie, we got to go to the Album of the Week. All right, Angie, time for Album of the Week. And this album is going to make you say, "Oh, Lord," in more ways than one. Angie usually screams that every once in a while, and I'm saying it here today with Angie. But it is the band Foxy Shazam and their album from 2010, Foxy Shazam as well. Now, I am not going to say I'm a Foxy Shazam fan. Angie, you ever heard of Foxy Shazam?
No.
No, she doesn't even know what we're talking about here. However, they've got a, resurgence, back on the radar, whatever you want to call it, with the song "Oh Lord," which is the theme song to Peacemaker Season 2. Of course, Peacemaker doing the fancy dances. Good friend of the channel, John Cena. Of course, we know John Cena, the John Stockton of fashion, as we know. John Cena, I love Peacemaker show. It's a great show. Definitely worth a watch every single Thursday night. You know I'm all in. But it's funny how these theme songs grow on you from that, watching the dance. And it's pretty cool. So Foxy Shazam getting that, which is probably great for their pocketbooks to get all this hubbub. There's TikTok reels, all this kind of stuff. People dance into the song and stuff. Very, very fun. And I enjoyed the song. At first, I was like, what is this song? But it really has grown on me. And it's Oh Lord is the song from the Foxy Shazam album. Now, the wild thing about them is I looked back and I saw Foxy Shazam in concert once upon a time. So my old man memory apparently failing me as they opened up for The Darkness. So I saw them with The Darkness. And it's funny, is listening to their album, I wouldn't say it's my favorite album. I definitely like the Oh Lord song the best. I got into it more and more as I went through it, but a lot of the songs are not my kind of cup of tea. It's, a rock, but low level, kind of not heavy, not really going all balls out like I like to do, of course. It wasn't quite that sign, but there's a couple of good songs on there. It's worth a listen one time. Never going to say it's my favorite band or anything like that, but it does remind me of The Darkness a little bit in a few things with kind of the theatrics, the vocal theatrics, let's call it, and even the cat suits a little bit. And everybody loves a cat suit. You ever wore a cat suit?
No, I should though.
We should add that to the list and see what happens with that. Maybe we'll check out that. But the cat suit stuff like that also has a little bit of Freddie Mercury Queen vibe. These guys, though, are from, I believe, Cincinnati, Ohio, Foxy Shazam. But worth a check out. If not anything, just listen to the Oh Lord song, or even better yet, pull it up on YouTube. I'm sure it's there a million times. The Peacemaker opening of the TV show for Series 2, and you'll hear this song. But worth checking out once. Not my favorite album ever. Not my favorite band ever, but cool enough to listen to once. And that's where I end it with Foxy Shazam. But what about you, Foxy? What do you think?
I thought you were going to say one of the songs that Dr. Z did in that segment.
Oh.
Where he was like talking about how inappropriate songs used to be back in the...
Yeah, he talked about...
He played a couple. That was so funny.
Yeah, a favorite of mine, of course, You're 16, which has been covered by many people. Ringo Starr made it famous, if you ask me. I love Ringo Starr. And then he talked about Gene Simmons, Christine 16. He basically read the lyrics out loud and just like, what is going on? A 30-year-old
picking up a 16-year-old. They're like, let's not write that.
A little wild. Little wild times there, but it was a good show. And it was a good album, and it was worth checking out right there. But Angie, you know what else is worth checking out and what's worth sticking around for? It's time for Story Time with Kyle. All right, Angie, it's time for Story Time with Kyle, and you have no idea what story this is going to be, do you? No idea what I'm going to tell.
I rarely do.
But you can chime in on this one, as this is going to test your memory once again. This is going to go way back. I think we were dating for 3 weeks, maybe a month at the time. Wow. So this would have been way back in 2004.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Way back in 2004. Now, Angie, we were at a job fair. Do you remember this at all?
Oh,
it was and strangely enough, the reason I thought of this was because it was at the same spot Dr. Z was. It was at that event center there. So the huge event center. Now, I had recently graduated from college, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And that's a story for another day.
It's all coming back to me, I think.
No, it's all coming back to Angie. There's two different directions I was going to go with my life as far as jobs. I went one direction, left the other one in the dust. But I didn't get it. So, anyways, I didn't get it. I don't know.
Were we both unemployed when we met? Because I had just moved.
You were unemployed.
Yeah.
But I was working at the grocery store here. So I worked at the grocery store, worked at the grocery store through college, transferred back to my original store. And I was doing that, working on trying to find a job after college, trying to put this degree to use. And I think we talked about that was last week or the week before, how I had to go back and make half of what I made before I went to college. It made no sense. But anyways, I was going to say, am I going to keep it in the grocery industry on the other side, the supplier side, or I was going to go into the insurance side of the world, like my father, of course. So I was going to go one of those two directions, but my dad did not want to help me get a job. He said, I know your work ethic, and he knew my work ethic, but my dad's always been, I'm not going to pull any help for you. I'm not going to do anything for you. You got to do it on your own. Or he could easily make a call and say, give this kid a low-level job at this insurance company. He just would not do that. So I had to use my grocery experience, my grocery connections to move on to where I am now, to where we sit right here. However, we went to this job fair. You remember this at all? Vaguely. And I don't remember there being anything that wowed me as far as job fair. Obviously, you go to these tables, you pick up some flyers, business cards. There wasn't a lot that I remember. I don't think you remember a whole lot of getting anything there. Obviously, neither of us got a job out of this job fair. I believe my buddy Pete was with us too, if I'm not mistaken. So Pete also had recently graduated from college. He was more of the IT tech world, is what he was doing. But we all went to this. And then I remember being at this event center. I said, wait a minute. I forgot my dad, his business is right across the street, literally right across the street from here. Every single day he goes downtown, suit and tie, that whole thing. You know, he was the head of an insurance company. I'm like, oh, let's just go say hi to my dad, you know, thinking you could just walk in, like you can just walk in anywhere and say hi to somebody. So we all went there, and we get there, and right at the ground level, there's like a big desk, you know, and then there's elevators off the side. And they said, well, who are you here to see? Well, I want to go see Tom Peterson or whatever. And they said, okay. So we took the elevator up. They, you know, security let us in or whatever. We got to the top floor where his office was. And I'll never forget this. You remember this?
I feel like I know where you're going with this.
Oh, yeah. So we get to the top floor here. So we get there, and I'm like, wow. And I'd actually never been to his office. I'd never been invited. That was the weird thing. It's like they never invited me. My younger sister apparently had been there many a times. But I was never invited to the office. So I didn't know what I was getting myself into. But went to the top, and we get out of the elevator there, and we're like, okay, where do we go? And then there's another big table there with a secretary, and it was my dad's secretary. So I walk up to her and say, hey, I'm here to see Tom Peterson. And she just looks at me like, who is this guy? And I think we were dressed okay because we were at a job fair. You don't wear, you know, your Iron Maiden shirt to a job fair unless you're a real one. Unless you're a real one. And if you're a real one, you're my kind of guy. You're my kind of guy out there. But we talked to her, and she just looked a little bit puzzled. Like, what the heck? What is this cavalcade of these 20-year-olds doing in here? Or whatever we were, early 20. I don't know. What is time? What is age? But she looked at me, I said, hey, is Tom Peterson there? Like, well, who should I say? Well, it's Kyle, his son. And she dead looked at me. You remember this? This is where the story goes. Dead looked at me and said, Tom doesn't have a son. Tom doesn't have a son. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure I'm his son. And I don't know, you and Pete were like, what the heck is going on here? Because, you know, Pete obviously never been a part of this shenanigan. And Angie, we just started dating a couple weeks into this. Like, what is going on here? And my dad has a huge office. And I remember you could see the doors, they were closed, all this kind of stuff. I said, well, just go get him. Just go. She's like, and like, she like thought I was some kind of guy. And this is long before people came in and like, did bad things to CEOs and stuff like that. It was a little bit more loose around this time. But she looked at me like I was the most untrusting individual of all time. She looked at me like I was full of shenanigans, that I was just up to no good, that I was going to take out this 6'8" executive from this company is what she thought.
You even had your short hair then.
And I had short hair. I had clean shaven. Like I looked like a college frat boy is what I looked like at the time. Everybody always said, oh man, Kyle, you're a lot smarter. I thought you were just some like kind of backwards hat college frat boy, you know, flip-flops and stuff. No, I've got substance.
You said me, flip-flops, never.
Me? Yeah, exactly. I tell everybody, no, I got substance. I got
socks.
heart. I got heart.
Socks.
Yes, I wear socks. I wear socks, and I got heart. I got heart right here. I do. So she looked at me like I was crazy, and then she got up. And I remember as a kid, my dad used to work at a different company, and his secretary back then, she went to all the wrestling shows, and she'd be in front row all the time. And that was my kind of secretary. That was the salt of the earth. But I always asked my dad, could you tell her to hook us up with some tickets? She apparently always gets the great tickets. Little did I know is my dad's shenanigans. I'm not paying for the front row tickets. We'll get them up in not the top, but the section down there. He was full of shenanigans, my dad. He still is. He doesn't want to come on the podcast. I have to, get him vigilante style. But anyway, she went to get my dad, and she goes in and knocks at the door or whatever, opens it up and has a discussion. And that discussion, it felt like an eternity. Like, I don't know if they were negotiating, saying, do we let these kids in? Is this really a thing? And Tom, there's somebody here that says they're your son. And maybe he had to I do have a son. And I just never talked about it.
Explain this whole life story.
I never really talk about it much because, and I can just see my dad. It's like, I don't like to open up to people I don't really know. Yeah, you're my secretary, but I don't have to have small talk. You don't need to know about my family. Just answer my calls, take my notes, do the dictation, run my mail. That's probably where my dad was probably at. He was like, I don't want her to know about all this.
Yeah.
And anyways, my dad comes walking out and went, hey, I don't think I had a cell phone at this time. Maybe I did. I don't know what was going on, but couldn't just call him up. I didn't know his work number, so I wouldn't know how to work him. I think my dad was just shocked that here's Kyle. It's like one of those things where like, it used to happen to me as a little kid all the time. I'd go to like, my dad and I, we'd be at the mall. We'd be at KB Toys or something like that. And I'd come out and then I'd see my grandma and my aunt shopping. And they lived like 2 hours away from us. But it was always like super shocking. I'm like, wait, Grandma, Aunt Kathy, what are you guys doing here? What is going on? And it's like, we came to town on the weekend to go to the mall. And it's like, but you didn't call me. You didn't want Kyle to come? Let's go. Grandma, since you're here, let's go to KB right now. It's right over here. Let's go. But it was always shocking to see people in environments and run on people, especially like your grandpa and grandma or something. Like, what the heck? This is Bizarro World. And I think my dad had that same thing. Like, what is this kid? What is he doing here? And I said, oh, hey, Dad. and I think he was fine. But I remember him letting us go in his office. You remember that? He had a big office. I remember like, wow, this is a huge office. It was the top floor of this building. And I remember you could look over the whole downtown. I'm like, man, this is quite the office.
Corner office, baby.
Yeah, just saying, oh, how'd the job search go? All that kind of stuff. The chit chat, the fatherly chit chat. I remember just looking around, perusing all over. You know where this is going, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, and I got hot. I'm still hot because here we are 20 years later, still talking about it. And I'm looking around the office. Man, this is a really nice office. I don't know if it was as nice as my office once upon a time. I remember my old office had the Ultimate Warrior poster in there, had the Lemmy poster in there. I was an executive of a company and had an Ultimate Warrior poster, a Lemmy poster. I was living the dream. I had Ultimate Warrior figures in there.
You didn't care.
I didn't care. I am who I am, like a young Popeye. But I'm looking around and I see Dad's desk. I'm like, oh, this nice desk, big oak desk, everything looking really good. And then I look, and what do I see? I see a family picture.
What don't you see?
What don't I see? I see a family picture of my sister and my stepmom and him. I also see a picture of my stepsister sitting there, but no pictures of Kyle. No pictures of Kyle, like I don't even exist. I couldn't believe it. And then I thought, am I walking into a parallel universe where I don't exist? Because I know in here that I'm the apple of my dad's eye. I know I am.
But it wasn't just one picture. It was like one of those like trifold.
It was a trifolder.
Oak.
There was room. and I knew I was like, I stepped into like a wormhole or a black hole because I know my dad, if my dad had to list off his 10 favorite people, I would be right there at 9, 10, right in there, right in between that mix. Right in between. I know for a fact I would be. Apparently the rest
top 3. You gotta be top 3.
I would hope I'm number 1. Number 1. I better be number 1. He's number 1 for me. I don't know who's number 1, but I at least I'm guaranteeing I'm 9, 10 there. But looked around and I couldn't believe it. I thought I was like, this was Bizarre World, and then I thought it was like a joke they were playing on me. But then I'm like, wait, the joke's on myself because I didn't tell him I was coming. It's not like he hid the picture or anything.
Right.
And I remember saying, Dad, where's the picture of me? Oh, I just don't have any. I don't have any or something like that. And I was...
Well, Tammy did that. She set it up. Your dad wouldn't bring pictures.
I don't know. I think my dad was a part of it, but I just think out of sight, out of mind. Kyle was at college. He'd been at college, so it wasn't like he was around for family pictures and stuff like that. But I don't know. They just didn't have any pictures of me, and I lost a little bit of my heart that day. I left a little bit of my heart in that office.
There's
what
pictures
happened.
of you in the house, though.
There is now. There is now. After that, it'll never let them forget that. I'll always say that. But I was very sunk in, and I remember just Pete consoling me, putting his arm on my shoulder, and said, I don't know if my dad likes me either. It makes you feel any better. And I just very downtrodden. I was trying to impress this smoke show here back then. I was like, oh man, my dad doesn't even like me. She's probably like,
what family am I getting into?
Yeah, she's like, oh, his dad doesn't even have pictures of him. Like, what kind of guy is this? He must be just the plague. Who knows? But it was a rough time, and that was a rough story time with Kyle. I'm glad I got that off my chest right here today. I felt like I don't know. I lived a little. I grew a little bit right here today.
You died a little.
Yeah, I died a little bit that day, and I'm trying to regrow every single day since then. So that's a little story time with Kyle, a sad story time with Kyle, and hopefully my dad can be on this channel one of these days to speak to this story.
We can question.
We can grill him. We get the hot lamp underneath him. His head will be up here though, and I'll be here. But wait a minute. But there it is. That's story time with Kyle. Angie, how about we bring it home with a few final thoughts? All right, Angie, it's time for a few final thoughts. And I think a lot of people got a lot of final thoughts for the comments for this video here. And I think a lot of people are hoping we'll see this dress once again back in the rotation. And probably my Western shirt, too. That's probably going to be the talk of the town. But Angie, it's time for a few final thoughts. And of course, we got a little question of the week. Do you want to read the question of the week?
I got this.
She's got it. Reading.
All right. Win Hockey. Hi, Angie and Kyle. Love the show. Watched everyone so far. Can't help but notice you are the coolest collector of action figures.
I really am.
My question, though, involves your guitars. How many do you have, and are you still playing? Do you want me to keep going all the questions? Do you even have the time? Love playing and feel like we have the same taste in music. Keep going. 100 is right around the corner.
There you go. Yeah, it's almost episode 26 on the long road. So
how many do you have? And are you still playing?
1, 2, 3, 7. I think I have 10 guitars. No, 11 guitars right now.
Yeah.
11. 11 guitars. And
Probably half of them are like a collection kind of.
Yeah, so my way of getting guitars a lot of times is it's like a 2-in-1. Obviously, I want to play them. However, all of my guitars, like I got a Tony Iommi, a Zakk Wylde model guitar. I got a Michael Schenker Dean guitar. I got a Marty Stewart guitar. I got a Tim Armstrong Fender acoustic. Trying to read through everything else what I got. But anyways, all of them are like collectors because, hey, it's Michael Schenker. That's cool. I love Michael Schenker. I love the Michael Schenker group, but also I can play it. So it's like a 2-for-1. It's a way to justify is really what it is. It's justification at the end of the day. I used to have a lot more guitars. I did dial back some. I probably should dial back a little bit more because, Angie, do I play anymore?
No.
No, I do not play guitar anymore. I do not have time at all to play guitar.
It's your retirement story.
It is, and I probably told it last week, but it's one of my biggest regrets that I just don't have time. And I'm the first one to say, if you want to do something bad enough, you'll make time for it. So obviously I don't want it bad enough, but I really don't have time. I am so jam-packed with things every single day between everything in my life. It's unbelievable. I need to dial back some things. I need to get better at that.
I want to play the piano again.
You're going to play the piano? You only played the boogie-woogie piano, if I'm not mistaken, though, like a young Bocephus.
Or maybe I'll learn how to play guitar.
Maybe. It's not very hard. It's really not very hard. But
we're going to start a band in retirement.
We're going to start a band. That's what we're going to do. We're going to start a jug band is what we're doing over here. A jug band. That's what we're going to do. But I wish I played guitar. I used to play all the time. I used to love playing all the time. It's just no time. And in retirement, that was one of my great plans. One of the big things I will be doing in retirement every single day, playing guitar. So I am waiting for that. What was the other part of that question? How many have you still playing? But no, I wish I was. I don't have the time.
I think you answered everything.
Oh, keep going, 100 over the corner. But yeah, it is a bummer because I hate to see them just sitting down there. And good friend of the channel, Jeff George, he'll say, man, let's jam, let's do it. I'm like, I can't jam anymore. I can't play anymore.
But he always busts them out and tunes them when he comes and plays a little.
I said, hey, clean these up. And Jeff loves working on guitars and stuff. So one of these days, I'm just going to have him come over. Hey, Jeff, why don't you come all the way over just to clean up my guitars and restring them and do all that work for me? Just put him to work while he's here. He's like, wait a minute. I didn't come here to work. But I do enjoy it. I love guitar. I love music. One day I'll get back to it. But the cool thing is, like, I still remember all of my chords. That's how I started learning guitar. So I'm going to memorize all these chords. So I got all the chords down. And then I got some of the scales, just a few memorized, the blues minor, all that kind of stuff. But I am by no means a soloist or anything like that. But I can play to tablature and stuff. And I'm one of those guys that likes to just dole out my riffs. Here's 5 Judas Priest riffs. Here's some Black Sabbath. Here's some Iron Maiden. Here's some Real Big Fish. Okay, now it's Johnny Cash. Here's a little Waylon Jennings. I like to just wheel through that kind of stuff real fast. I don't sit there and play whole songs and stuff. But
fun fact, right where you film, we used to have a bar. And then all along the wall where all the D-tops are, we had the guitars hung on the wall. It was decoration and it looked really neat.
Yep.
But that all came down when the collection went wild.
All came down. It was Elite line. I thought it was going to end, and it never ends. It's still going. So got to make room.
Does your friend still have the bar? We sold it.
Yep. And we'll see him tonight. You ask him, how's that bar doing for you? You can ask him that tonight.
We never really drank. Why did we have a bar? It just looked cool.
It just looked cool. It was the nicest gathering spot is what it was. It was real good. So there it is. That is the question of the week. And if you want to be the question of the week, stick it in the comments down below. Just stick it in the comments down below, and Angie will check it out. Of course, you can also email it to the Kyle Peterson Show at gmail.com, and Angie will find us over there as well. And I should plug it, the Patreon YouTube channel memberships. If you're enjoying this podcast, you enjoy all the YouTube videos from my 2 YouTube channels. By being a Patreon member or YouTube channel member, you get early access to all this kind of stuff, plus bonus content, plus things like that. So you want to support the channel, you want to support the podcast, you know what to do. You know what to do.
You know what to do. Now we got to get on the road. Are you going to be a passenger princess?
I am.
So you can edit this?
I'm going to have Angie drive. That gives her something to do.
And we're going to my old stomping grounds.
Her old stomping grounds. Uh-oh, for good or for bad. We'll see. We'll find out later tonight, I guess.
It's a very smelly town.
I
don't know if we should say where we are going.
No, Smelly Town, USA is where we're going to. Full of skunks. Pepe Le Pew's there. Mayor, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But we're going to have a good time on the road here, and there's a lot going on. But Angie, what did we learn today?
What did we learn? Dr. Z.
We learned about Dr. Z, GalaxyCon.
I'm like peeking.
Peeking at my notes? What are you doing? We learned about my dad.
Yeah, the oatmeal cream pie.
We learned about Angie's love of cream pies. Some
Your
of her favorite.
hates you.
Oh, my dad hates me, of course. We learned about Dr. Z figure of the week.
I think he was just jealous you're so handsome and didn't want the picture. Like,
oh, I'm sure.
you know,
I'm sure that's what it was. I'm sure that's what it was.
Can't stare at this handsome face all day.
But there it is. Got to thank DJC Collectibles, Adolf DJC. Got to thank Amped Apparel. Use code Kyle. Save yourself 20% for sponsoring the podcast as well. So, Angie, you ready to hit the road?
Yes.
All right. Until next time, Angie, tell everybody goodbye.
Bye.
Are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?
I'm solid gold. I've got the goods. They stand with